What's happening, everybody? Welcome into the Pack a Day podcast here on YouTube. I'm your host, Andy Herman. Going to be discussing Thursday's training camp practice. Was that practice number 7, I think, already? It's all going by so incredibly fast, and we just had our first preseason game. Hope you enjoyed the Ben DiNucci second half in Dallas. Not very pretty for the Cowboys, but there was preseason football on, and it was amazing, and it felt right. And I know it's just preseason, and I know the football isn't that great, but there is football on TV, and it made me very happy. Hopefully it made you happy as well. We got family night coming up on Saturday, but want to go over some news and notes as well as discuss Thursday's practice. So a couple things off the bat. I do want to say, going back to yesterday's podcast when I did my 5 most pleasant surprises so far of training camp, somebody commented below, what about Josh Myers? To which I have to respond, you are absolutely correct. Josh Myers, 1,000,000% should have been on that list. I just missed it. Sometimes as you're going through 90 players, you just miss a guy, but Josh Myers absolutely should have been on that list. He's been nothing but a pleasant surprise so far, and somebody that has been one of the pleasant surprises of training camp. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, he's looked really good. He's obviously gotten praise from Amari Rogers already. He looks so advanced with the calls and the checks and the comfortable, just how comfortable he is at the line of scrimmage. Beyond his years. Like, it doesn't, I think part of the reason I almost forgot about him yesterday is I'm going through the offensive line. I'm just looking at him and Josh Myers already feels so natural as the center of the team. And again, that's not to say he's going to be a Pro Bowler or, even good his first year. Until the pads come on, until we start seeing him in game action, we're not going to know, right? But it's a really great start to camp for Josh Myers. So whoever pointed that out yesterday, you are 1,000,000% correct. Josh Myers absolutely should have been on that list. A couple pieces of news from Thursday. Packers released long snapper Joe Fortunato, which leaves Hunter Bradley as the only long snapper in camp at the time being, which is fairly good job security for him. I don't think that Hunter Bradley is maybe the best long snapper in the league, but as I mentioned a few days ago, what you want right now is continuity with Mason Crosby. The last handful of seasons, probably more than that, Mason Crosby and the kicking game, specifically field goals, extra points, obviously, has been the one strong point of this special teams unit. Literally everything else has mostly been garbage. You don't want to mess with that. And, well, again, I don't think, Bradley's necessarily, top 15 in the league at it. And, J.K. Scott, probably not one of the best punters. One of the things that has been good is the Bradley to Scott to Crosby, functionality of going through the process of kicking field goals. And I think that's an important aspect. So I would be surprised if they just brought somebody in last minute and took Bradley's job, because, again, I think you want to keep that consistent. So at this point, seems like that's very good news for Hunter Bradley. In the meantime, they bring in Chauncey Rivers, who is a edge rusher, outside linebacker, and a position that really needed at least a body, right? And we'll see what Chauncey Rivers can bring to the table. But they, were, Randy Ramsey injured now. Kamal Martin, they were starting to put out there as an outside linebacker at times. He's injured. They just need another, body out there to be able to kind of get through training camp and preseason and things like that. Chauncey Rivers was claimed off waivers, so he's been practicing, and we'll see if he can bring anything to the table. But definitely right now is a move for depth and a player who has some talent along the as an edge rusher and a pass rusher more specifically. All right, let's get to some camp news and notes. Let's go with my player of the day first of all, and it's exactly who you would expect, Reggie Begleton, of course. And just go figure, right? And again, it does feel like training camp and preseason is just prime wide receiver breakout. Like, there's always a couple of these wide receivers that have big training camps, right? So it always feels like it's that position. But we've been talking about how there's no roster spots for all these wide receivers, and how are you going to choose between Malik Taylor and Juwan Winfrey and Devin Funchess and all these guys, right? And now Reggie Begleton has a huge day, and Begleton has a ton of work to do, if we're being honest, to even get in the conversation. But that's one way to do it, is to go out and have huge days at practice. Begleton was all over the place, catching pass after pass. Specifically, had a really nice sideline catch from Jordan Love, kind of right in between the cover two, the corner, and the safety. Hit the sideline route. Love fitted in. It looked like he got both feet down. The defense was pretty adamant it was incomplete. They did move the chains, so it seemed like they were calling it a completion. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that it was a nice throw from Jordan Love, a great catch from Reggie Begleton, and Begleton had like there was a couple times where he caught 2 passes in a row. Like he was just all over the place. And again, that's what you need to do if you're Begleton. Do I think he's going to make the team? No, I think he's a ways away from that, but easily could work himself into the practice squad conversation once again. And then you're just a phone call away from getting called up to the roster, and then you're an injury or two away from playing and being able to make an impact. So you got to walk before you can crawl, reverse that. But you've got to start making a name for yourself in some way, shape, or form. And that's hopefully what Reggie Begleton did on Thursday. So that was my player of the day. My play of the day was Aaron Rodgers to Alan Lazard. Preston Smith, they're at about the 40-ish yard line. Preston Smith gets some good pressure and forces Rodgers out of the pocket. Throws it at about the 45, hits Alan Lazard in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Just one of those where, you see Rodgers roll right and just do his classic kind of launch, perfect launch angle, comes down, drops it in a bucket, hits Alan Lazard just completely in stride. Couldn't have handed it off any better. It was just vintage Aaron Rodgers, and Lazard with another nice play. And I tweeted this out, and that was kind of the next player that I wanted to talk about was Alan Lazard. He's just having another really nice training camp. And I tweeted out saying, Lazard may never be a superstar. I don't think I'm breaking news here, and some people took umbrage with that. But, Lazard's probably never going to be a superstar wide receiver. Again, I don't think that's breaking news. But he continues to do everything right. All the small things, the blocking, the consistent catching. You never see him drop a pass. He does the dirty work over the middle of the field. He can get deep and get open from time to time and make big plays. We saw it against the Saints a season ago. It's just, what do you need from me on this play? And you can never have enough guys like that. And what the team may need from you on a given play might be blocking, it might be chipping, it might be digging out a safety or a linebacker, with a toss outside. There's a million different things that might look like, and that might be. And whatever that's been, when Davante Adams is out, you need a big game from Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard's been able to do that. When his breakout season, when they needed some big plays from a receiver off the bench, Alan Lazard was able to do that. So superstar, probably not. Doing everything that he needs to do to be a good wide receiver in this league and help the Packers win football games, oh, heck yeah. And he's, again, putting together a really nice training camp. And I think that's something that should be celebrated and be excited. People should be excited about it because Lazard's really become a really nice football player. Next up, I want to talk about Jace Sternberger, who I thought had a really nice practice. If you didn't get a chance, I retweeted it, but somebody sent it to Matt Schneiderman, who retweeted it as well. He had a fantastic just route against Henry Black in one-on-ones and then did the one-handed catch. Just a really gorgeous catch by Sternberger. Came up with a couple catches in team activities as well. We're starting to see the receiver, Jace Sternberger, really start putting things together as a route runner, a receiver down the field. He still has a ways to go as an overall tight end. Of course, you got the 2-game suspension, but I thought he's starting to put together some nice practices. And again, that's what we need to start seeing out of Jace Sternberger is just more consistency. And on Thursday, he did that, catching the football, which again is more his forte, right? Never going to probably be a really stout, strong run blocker, pass blocker, etc. But if he can be a weapon in the passing game and just be another piece of the arsenal for Matt LaFleur, I'm all for it. And I think there's some usefulness there for Jace Sternberger. So again, this is a player that the old Mike McCarthyism, you want to see him start stacking success day after day. Thursday was a good day. Let's see if he can carry it into family night as well. Eric Stokes started with a really tough day again, giving up completions in the one-on-one drill, gave up a completion or two in team activities, but I thought he had a really nice end to practice today, and that's a really good step in the right direction. There was a deep ball down the field to Davante Adams, who he used the sideline to his advantage and stayed with him step for step down the sideline, and Rodgers had nowhere to go with the football, just overthrew it just to basically get rid of the ball. And then there was, I believe, a deep corner route to, I think it was Jay Sternberger as well. And Stokes had that covered perfectly. There was another play where he had good coverage on as well. So a rough start to practice from Stokes, a really nice end to practice. And listen, Stokes has struggled through camp, through mini camp, through OTAs. And, whether it's been Rogers is throwing at him or he's going against Davante Adams, it hasn't, up until this point, it hasn't mattered if he was going against Adams, Winfrey, whomever. He was struggling to stay in coverage. So I think one of the things he needs right now is a little bit of confidence. And I think towards the end of practice, hopefully he got that with the coverage on Adams and Sternberger. And I forget who the other one was, but there were a few nice plays towards the end of practice. And I thought that, again, one of the things you always want to see from a corner is even if you struggle early, can they bounce back from it and just move on to the next play? And we saw that from Stokes on Thursday. Made a few mistakes, bounced back, had a great end of practice, and hopefully that's a launching pad for him moving forward. Couple of safeties. Vernon Scott had a couple nice pass breakups. Christian Uphoff had an interception. It was more right place, right time, but I heard some buzz. I didn't see it personally, but I heard some buzz about Uphoff from the reporter side of just, that he was making a couple plays. I only saw the interception, but it sounded like he was gaining a little bit of buzz from the sideline from his play on Thursday, so he's going to be a player that I keep a little bit more eye on. Jordan Love had some ups and downs. He went through a stretch where he completed a few passes in a row. He had a bullet over the middle to who else but Reggie Begleton. And then he had the corner route to Begleton as well. So he had some nice throws in team activities. Also had a couple really bad decisions. He had the interception to Christian Uphoff, and it was like, I forget, it was third. I think it was third down, and he's throwing deep over the middle on just a seam route. Forget which tight end it was. It might have been Sternberger, but I'm not positive. But either way, massively underthrows it, throws it far to the left, gave his receiver no option. It was third down. He should have lived to see another down, and just right into the waiting hands of Christian Uphoff. So poor decision there. Then there was another play where he's trying to hit the seam in the middle of the field and threw it right to Devondre Campbell. Campbell couldn't hang on to it, but those are just plays that Love's going to have to learn from. And again, it's just consistency with Love, right? You see some throws from time to time that get you excited, but then you see the downside as well. And that's what you expect from a young quarterback, not a rookie, but he was a redshirt guy a season ago. He's going to be another redshirt guy this year in all likelihood, knock on wood. But he's still going through those lumps, and it's things that you need to do as a rookie quarterback, but you hope that he continues to learn from those and not that it becomes a trend moving forward. A couple other small notes. We got to see Amari Rogers lined up in the backfield as a running back with A.J. Dillon one time, Aaron Jones another time. So, Matt LaFleur is starting to put in some wrinkles. We also saw Jair Alexander in the slot on defense, which we had yet to see at any point this offseason. So it was Josh Jackson, Eric Stokes on the outside with Jair Alexander in the slot. So some different formations, some different things that they're trying out. We'll see again if they continue some of that stuff into family night this Saturday and then into preseason. But those were kind of the main news and notes. It wasn't anything like a crazy big day. There wasn't any major happenings, but just a sound, solid practice. Hopefully guys got better, learned from their mistakes, and again, can carry over some of the successes that they did have into family night on Saturday. Thanks so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. I'm going to be right back here tomorrow with an all-new episode, so make sure to check that out and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to check out Andrew Mertag and Kyle Fellows, who have special guest Ben Solak on today's episode. Fantastic episode from Andrew and Kyle with special guest Ben Solak. So make sure to check that out on the audio version of the podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. But until next time, and as always, go Pack Go.